Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Bruce, and in today's video I'll be doing a storage guide in Stranded Deep, and also a sourcing guide, like how you can sort out your items, getting the same items at the same place, etc. So there's basically only two things you need, but one you'll need only one of, and the other thing you'll need a lot of. So first thing you'll need is a label maker that you can find in shipwrecks in this container boxes, or you can even find them in consoles and lockers, and large lockers and small lockers as well. That's the basics where you can find this label making item. So this is actually to mark your box, or even the, let's say, the compass. I can change the name of the compass as well. But okay, let's get started with the basics, just simple things. For example, this is my coconut. This is the empty coconut. I do have rocks here, so the items that I do not get a lot of, that I cannot harvest, etc., I just drop on the ground. There's cloth and tarp as far as that goes. I do have here a place where I just drop my spears, but I do have some of these spears in the storage, ready to fight the megalodon or the bosses. Here I have tree trunks. Just drop them close to the plank, the plank station. And next to that I have my palm fronds. Just store them, because this palm fronds, they do not respawn. The trunks do not respawn. You just need to get them from different islands. So this I prefer not storing in any boxes. I prefer just dropping them on the ground. Sticks you can also just drop on the ground, as they come from the trunks, or you can even get them from trees, but you can just drop them on the floor. But later on in the future I will make storages like this. I'll continue building that one up there, but it'll be exactly the same as the one down here. So you guys can see, this is a storage for my corrugated scrap and one for my planks. This is for the basic items. If I want to craft more planks, I can just come here and craft more planks. But planks, let's say I go to a different island, I come back, I can just drop my planks right there. Now up here, if I can get up here, I'm going to place another set of storage containers like this down there, with the fences in the middle, and I'll probably drop my trunks and palm fronds also down here. But you can build something like this, and you can even extend it one out, so you have like a little walkway right over here, and you can build up towards there for the next set of storages. So this is the basics, just storing these small items like rocks, because rocks you can only stack up to 4, coconuts up to 4. I think the trunks cannot be stacked at all. Leaves you can stack up to 4 if I'm not mistaken. This you can also stack up to 4 each. I just prefer throwing them down like that. Okay, so that's for the basic harvesting items. I'll move on to the fibrous leaves in a second. So as you can see, well, I just need to collect my fuel here. Okay, so to store, let's say, the fuel, you just want to put them in jerry cans, and you want to store them in 3 sections. So the empty jerry cans you want to put closest to the fuel still, so you know this is empty. You don't need to go into inventory and look, but this is empty. And you come here, in the middle is the jerry cans that's been used. So if I take this jerry can, I go into my inventory, you see it is on 31.5%. so I prefer just storing that in the middle, so you know this one does have fuel but it's not full, and nor it's empty. In this I prefer storing the full jerry cans closest to, let's say, your gyrocopter or even your boats, but I prefer storing it closest to the gyrocopter, as it's the vehicle I use the most. If I go into my inventory, I can show you it's 100%. So I just prefer dropping this closest to your vehicles. That's the way to store the fuel in the game. Barrels and buoy balls you can just throw on the ground, and also the tires you can just stack them close to the island or close to your base. to the edges of the island, or even let's say the buoy balls is here floating in the water, because it is like a little hole gap thingy here that has a bit of water, and I prefer placing my buoy balls in there, as that is a good spot for me, and I will remember that, where I can get my buoy balls. Okay, so let's move on to, let's say, food storage. Now we'll get to the container storage, but as you can see here, I do have the unskinned animals right over here. They're just laying down here, but in this boxes over here I do have unskinned animals as well. But you can see that one says food, and that one is food as well. This one is it says wood crate. I want to rename it while I'm here. I just want to rename it to smoked food. It was renamed at some point. Okay, so let's quickly rename it. So this is how you rename it. When you have the label maker in your hand, you can just look at the box, highlight the box, press R2 or RT if you're on the Xbox, then press triangle or Y on the Xbox. Then you hold X on the Xbox and square on the PlayStation 4 to erase the name that is in there, and now you just type in what you want to rename it to. So I'm going to rename it to smoked food. Smoked food, just like that. Now, and then you just press X on the PlayStation and A on the Xbox, and now you'll say it says smoked food. So I do have my smoked food in there. That is very good. For the lanterns, I prefer just placing them close to your campfires or even your fuel still, as that does not despawn and it just lies around here. Canned food, for example rations and beans, you can just store them close to your fire or close to your food storages. You can just drop them down on the ground, as that is a lot neater than dropping down the cooked food or even the smoked food, as that's not good. It'll look a bit weird if you just store smoked meat on the floor. But that's it for the cooking guide. The water stills, mine is I hope they're all full. Yes. But you can just leave it like this with keep it just filled up with water, or you can fill up clay flasks, is what I prefer. It is expensive to make, but it keeps the most amount of water inside of it. So I just prefer filling them up, and you can even store them in boxes, rename them to clay flasks and store them in boxes. But I prefer just keeping it like that, as it's a solo game and you do not need that much water. But let's go inside. So as you guys can see, I do have fuel parts, electrical parts, engine parts, filter parts and gyrocopter parts. This gyrocopter parts are full, so it is 444. That gives you 12 in total that a box can take, and the rest of the parts I just dropped down here. As you can see, my fuel parts is nicely stacked, and I'm going to show you guys how you can stack the boxes like this as well. But you just rename the box to what item you want to store inside of it. That's my vehicle parts. I prefer putting them on their own. And yes, they fibrous leaves. I prefer storing the fibrous leaves in chests as well, as they are small, easy to get. They do regrow, and you do not want that rendering in at once. The amount of rendering in all of those fibrous leaves can give you, so I just prefer storing them in boxes. They can stack up to 24 as well. Now clay can only stack up to 4, but I prefer storing them in boxes, as it's a good resource and you don't want to get you don't want to lose clay at any point in the game. Okay, so fishing gear, I just named it fishing gear, as I didn't want to drop the things there next to shore. The label maker I just decided to place in here because I do not have a storage for label maker. But if we go back here, you have a bunch of different storages for leather, rawhide, the hammers, I have the compasses, flare guns, the torches, spyglass, lashing, duct tape, the air tanks and the spear gun. So that's the spear gun and arrows. But up here, well, it's actually outside, but I used to store my gear for the next boss fight up here. Just placed them down here. For some reason he has a spear, but anyways, I also have my antidotes, so that goes for the alu salve and the antidote. That's the medicine. Then I have the bandages, so this is a splint. I just need to put bandages in there, as I have placed them in different boxes when I go to the boss fight. This willy you can just throw down on the floor, as that thing doesn't despawn at all. Okay, so let's see, let's take containers. You can take up to 9 containers in your inventory, so that gives you 9 times, well, it depends on the items that you carry, but 9 times 3, and that's the amount of slots that you'll have when you go to a different island. But for example, if you want to stack them like I do, like this, I'm going to show you guys now. So what you do is you need to get a pretty flat surface, not too flat, but the flatter it is, the better it works. Okay, so you want to go into inventory, go up to the highest wooden crate, the one at the top center of the inventory, hold circle, or if you're on Xbox, a B, drop that and drop another 2 right on top of it. Go out of the inventory, just walk a bit back until your character falls off, look straight up towards this boxes, so in the middle for example, look up and do the exact same, drop 3 boxes, move back and drop another 3 boxes, just like that. So as you can see, neatly stacked like you want it. And this is good for example, if you have a storage in your home, you can store them like this, as it is 3 stacked. You can even stack a 4th one, but sometimes it does move and it falls off, etc. But I prefer just spawning it or dropping it like that. Okay, now for last but not least is the crops. I saved this one for the last spot. So as you can see, I do have my aloe vera here, and inside of the boxes I have my aloe vera, and it's named to aloe. So I prefer placing 1 to 2 boxes per plot. As you can see, I have 1 box per plot, and this one is already full of potatoes, and this one has 3 potatoes already, and I have 4 potato farms. I need to fill this up with water. But anyway, so this is how you can store your items. The rest you can just drop down on the ground, as they do not despawn. But I prefer storing the most amount of items that you can, as that'll make the rendering time or the rendering in a lot smoother, and you won't get the exploding effect. You'll just get boxes floating. But that's the basic effect you'll get. But that's it for today's video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure to throw a thumbs up and show that you appreciate the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, as I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the month, and it's pretty close, and I'm also close to 1,000 subscribers. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video.